Vamos a hablar de las reglas especiales del presente del subjuntivo. Tengo tres categorías aquí de reglas especiales del presente del subjuntivo. Primero tenemos los verbos irregulares, después los verbos con cambios ortográficos y después los verbos con cambios de raíz. Empezamos con los verbos irregulares. So there are 6 irregular verbs in the present subjunctive. The first 2 here are going to be ser and ir. You'll notice that they only have accents in the vosotros form. The next 2 of our 6 irregular verbs in the present subjunctive are estar and dar. Estar has an accent on every form except for nosotros. And dar has an accent only on the yo and el, ella, usted forms. The final 2 of the 6 irregular verbs in the present subjunctive are haber and saber. They only have accents on the vosotros form. Next, we have los verbos con cambios ortográficos. So remember that infinitive verbs that end in car, gar, and zar experience a spelling change in all forms. You would have seen car, gar, zar when you did the preterite tense. So it is showing up again here, except it's showing up in all the forms. So for buscar, you can see it's a car verb. It changes to busque, busques, busque, etc. Llegar is a gar verb. So it changes to llegué, llegues, llegué. Finally, we have our zar verbs, such as empezar. That is, for instance, empiece, empieces, empiece. Empezar is a great verb to remind you of the importance of putting the verb in the yo form first, because you see it's also a stem changer. But we'll get to that in a second. Right now, what we really want to focus on is the fact that it stem changes from zar to ce. Vamos a practicar. So, número 1, you're going to fill in the blank using the verb ser. And número 2, you're going to fill in the blank using the verb jurar. Go ahead and pause this video so you have plenty of time to read through the sentences. In the next slide, we'll have your answers. Número 1. Ojalá que mi futuro esposo sea guapo. I hope that my future husband is handsome. Número 2. Quiero que vosotros juguéis fútbol conmigo hoy. I want you all to play soccer with me today. Finalmente, vamos a hablar de los verbos con cambios de raíz, stem-changing verbs. So first, you should know that IR verbs that stem change from E to IE in the yo form will stem change to I in the nosotros and vosotros forms. An example of this is below with the verb preferir. I've underlined the E for you that stem changes. So you can see that it stem changes to prefiera, prefieras, prefiera. But in the nosotros and vosotros forms, it changes just to that I instead of the IE. So it becomes prefiramos and prefirais. Part B here says that IR verbs that stem change from E to I in the yo form will maintain that I stem in the nosotros and vosotros forms. So it's looking the same all across the board here. Decir, I've underlined the E for you. Its stem changes to I and it stays that way. Diga, digas, diga, digamos, etc. Then we have IR verbs that stem change from O to UE in the yo form will stem change to U in the nosotros and vosotros forms. 2 different examples of this are dormir and morir. Once again, I've underlined the O that will stem change for you. Let's look at dormir. You can see that it becomes duerma, duermas, duerma, but then in the nosotros and vosotros forms becomes duermamos, duermais, and then goes back to duerman. AR and ER stem-changing verbs do not stem change in the nosotros or vosotros forms. So in pensar, for instance, E is going to stem change to IE, piense, pienses, piense, but not in the nosotros or vosotros forms. It stays pensemos, penses, and then goes back to piensen. You can see the same thing here with poder. Vamos a practicar. We have 2 sentences once again. We have mentir and seguir as our verbs to conjugate. So go ahead, pause this video, take your time, read the sentences, and figure out the answers. Número 1. Ojalá que nunca nos mintamos. I hope that we never lie to one another. Número 2. Mi mamá quiere que nosotros sigamos sus reglas. My mom wants us to follow her rules.